Sometimes just because we've seen something in context of a paragraph or a passage, we think it's true about everything. And, the danger of applying that philosophy to reading is that many of the questions ask according to paragraph 5 or according to paragraphs 1, 2, and 3. And so what I'm going to suggest that you do is use one of two things, either a sequence ladder. We're always trying to climb that ladder of success. Well, we also need to teach kids to climb the ladder of sequence to see if we can see what actually occurred in a passage so that we can decide whether to select it if it was there or to eliminate it if it wasn't. And if you also think of the storytelling remote that's in your reading and writing guide, then you can say, we're going to press play or fast forward until we find the things that the choices are asking us to look for. And once you find one that's not there, it was sort of like skipping that detail. And so you would teach that your kids that little song, one of these things just doesn't belong here. And you, of course, would eliminate it. So in the two answer choices for these two elementary questions that we're going to work on today from this week's passage, I'm going to apply the one of these things just doesn't belong here using a sequence ladder. And then the other one, I'm going to make sure you understand that according to the remote, uh, one of these, you would only find it if you rewind or fast forward before or after the paragraph that's being asked about. And so you sometimes have to zoom in and focus on just the content that the question asks. So let me show you that in action here so that you can apply one or more of these skills. So this is going to be, let me look at it, question number 4. And you can see it's the Why Are the Dogs So Loyal passage. That's week 2 for elementary. Uh, Question number 4 on page 6. So here we go. One of these things just doesn't belong here. According to paragraphs 1 through 3, so that's our specific context, content that we're looking for. Which 3 words or phrases uh, best describe how dogs show loyalty to their owners? Select the best 3 answers to the question. And so it has here waiting endlessly for them. I can imagine that happening in a certain book or a movie that I've watched. Guarding them from danger. Dogs do that. Licking and jumping on them. Dogs do that all the time. Showing gratefulness for feeding them. Feed me and I'll be loyal too, my friend. So what I did was I looked through the passage to save you the trouble. And if you'll go to page 20 of your reading and writing guide that was sent to all of you, you'll see in paragraph 1, it does say that if you feed them, they will uh, show loyalty. Okay, so we would select one because it does say select 3. So gratefulness, also known as loyalty for feeding them. Climbing the ladder in paragraph 2. So we're climbing up for each paragraph. to see something. Waiting endlessly for them is mentioned in paragraph 2. That is for A. So that is not one that we are going to eliminate. We're going to select that one as well. So if we fast forward or push play until paragraph 3, well, it mentions guarding them, which happens to be letter B. And so the one thing that doesn't belong here, we're going to eliminate. It's true that dogs do jump and lick you, but if you can't find it in the content or the context, then you have to understand that that's one of the ones that doesn't belong here. And I think what happens a lot of times, instead of bothering to read the actual content that they ask us about the location to find if it is there, the kids will just pick the 3 that are most popular. Okay. So probably letters B, C, and D are things that kids are most familiar with. And so they would automatically pick instead of actually taking the time to read 3 paragraphs. Okay. The other one has 2 good answers, and it comes down to this. If you look at me for a second in the screen on the right, there's positive emotions in my heart and negative emotions. So keep that in mind when we're doing the process of elimination. And again, this is that part A. I've got to get part A correct in order to get credit for part B. All right. If I don't get part A correct and a part A, part B answer evidence question, I won't get any points. Okay. So remember that according to the storytelling remote, we've got to only focus on um, what they tell us. Okay. So let's look and see. And I want you to notice that even before reading the question, stubborn and confused are 2 negative emotions. Caring and patient are 2 positive. How would you best describe the dog named Palito who waited for his owner faithfully at the train station for 9 years, even though the owner had passed away? Waiting for someone faithfully is a positive character trait. And so you would give an opinion uh, that could be stubborn, but you'd have to back it up. It could be confused, but you'd have to back it up with something that's in the passage. It's called don't just choose it, prove it. So here's the problem. It asks you to prove it in paragraph 5. That's very important when we look at these answers. In 2005, Science Direct held an experiment on canine behavior. Since that doesn't talk about positive or negativeness of the experiment, because it's too vague and not specific, we would eliminate that answer choice. Letter B, to your loyal dog, your family is their pack and they have adopted you as their own. That's great. That is positive. That would be caring, but that was in paragraph 4. So you'd have to push rewind before the scene that we're talking about to be able to choose that answer, and that would mean we'd have to eliminate it. The same pattern in humans would usually be associated with love. Well, since the part A was talking about dogs, focusing on the dog, not the humans, then it wouldn't be the one that you would choose. And so what happened there is that student would be focusing more on the owner than on the dog who's waiting faithfully. So let's eliminate that. So the best answer is letter D because it says the intriguing explanation, interesting, unique, is that dogs may actually love their families. And when you love someone, a cinnamon roll or synonym roll. I like to give out cinnamon rolls when kids come up with great synonyms because a lot of kids, if you say, uh, I'm going to give you food for doing strategies, it's almost like they have this little sign on their hands that says, have hunger. We'll do strategies for snacks or junk food or candy, dessert. So since love and caring are synonymous with each other, that would be the best evidence that would support and would get you the part A for caring and part B for loving their families. So that is how I would suggest that you do questions 4 and 5 on page 6. Um, Let me know if you have a different strategy and activity that will work for you. I really love coming up with, just different things. You know, they say sometimes God uses the foolishness of this world to confound the wise, but Jesus also talked with parables and analogies and allegories. And so he basically try to explain difficult things, what we as teachers call rigorous, in ways that would make it easy to understand. So the first one was the song. Uh, One of these things just doesn't belong here. Sequence ladder has to be in the ladder in order to select it, because if not, it's like picking something, uh, scene from another movie and trying to put it in the one that they're asking us about. And then that storytelling remote, that other positive character trait of loving was in the previous paragraph, not the one they asked us to focus on. So that would be pushing like rewind, and we don't want to push rewind. We want to stay focused and push play only in the paragraph that's being asked about. Thanks, guys. God bless, and enjoy the rest of your day or week. Uh, we're recording this in December, so hopefully you're having a wonderful Christmas season with friends and family.